The 990v6 might be this year's MVP. So let's talk about Carhartt, the American workwear brand that's been around forever, since literally the 1800s, and seems today to be as popular as it ever has been, giving us those workwear staples that we love. And now they have joined forces once again with New Balance. And in this video, I will be reviewing the New Balance 990v6 Carhartt. So these pairs released worldwide on October the 20th. They seem to be quite limited, however, these were pretty easy to get here in Europe. They did sell out in most places, however, they were available for at least an hour on most websites that had them. So if you really wanted this pair, you wouldn't have had too much problems getting it. But I did hear in other countries they weren't so easily available. Let me know in the comments if you guys managed to cop a pair. And I think part of the reason why these didn't sell out instantly, at least here in Europe, was the retail price. So these went for 270 euros, and in the US I believe they went for $250. The retail prices for V6s are normally $220 US, so there's definitely a bit of a premium with the shoe. I picked these up today from the Carhartt store here in Berlin, and I have to say the shoes looked really perfect in the store. It matched the Carhartt brand so well. We'll get into that a bit later. And this is not the first time we've seen a New Balance Carhartt. We already saw the 990v1s, which dropped last year, in that dark blue colorway, and that pair, although I personally thought it was a very nice looking shoe, they didn't seem to be as popular. In fact, right now on StockX, you can get a lot of sizes for below retail. And now for their second collab, they have gone with the 990v6, which is having a very strong year in 2023. The Action Bronson pairs were outstanding, and we've also seen some really nice general release colorways. Even though the V6 is not fully embraced by the New Balance community, I do feel like a lot of people have come around to enjoying this model this year. Now let's get into these shoes, starting off with the box. You get a brown box here with the Carhartt and New Balance logos. You see that on the top as well as on the sides. And on the inside of the box, you get the Carhartt Work in Progress branding. And for those of you who don't know, Work in Progress is a separate division of Carhartt. Carhartt, the main brand, focuses on giving you those workwear uniforms, whereas Carhartt Work in Progress is a much more fashion-forward label that tries to merge workwear with streetwear. Now let's get into the shoes. Now it says on several websites that these sneakers are called the Sculpture Center, which is kind of confusing to me because that's what the original colorway was called as well. And Sculpture Center apparently is just another way of saying your neighborhood gyms, and apparently these colorways were inspired by that. But when you look at the shoe, you could even say that this sneaker is instantly recognizable as a Carhartt shoe, simply because of the shade of brown that they've chosen to use on it. It's that very familiar mustard brown that Carhartt has become very famous for, very popular for, and it's actually called Hamilton Brown, which is named after the founder of the brand, Hamilton Carhartt. And the brown, I have to say, looks pretty great on this shoe on all of these suede panels. The V6s do have the suede panels that go all around, which is quite different in this model compared to previous 990s. And the suede does feel pretty good, it's pretty soft, but it doesn't feel like a step up in quality when compared to your general release 990 V6s. So even though these sneakers do have a premium price, it doesn't feel like you're really getting any sort of premium materials on this pair. The extra price is mainly because of the Carhartt branding that appears on the shoe, which you can see very nicely on the tongue. It's done in like an olive color. I do like the way they did the branding on this pair compared to the 990v1s. And moving down to the mesh panels of the shoe, it features like a dark gray mesh, which at least for me, I could have used maybe a lighter shade of gray here, just to give the shoe a bit of contrast, because there's a lot of dark colors going on the shoe already. What do you guys actually think about this colorway? Let me know down in the comments. On the heel, you have another mesh panel, which is actually done in a totally different shade of brown. And this is something I actually really like about the V6s. All of them seem to have this one little panel at the back that features a color that's seen nowhere else on the shoe. You get some leather panels as well, done in a slightly different shade of brown, and some more leather panels at the back, which are done in kind of like a chocolate brown. And then looking at the N logo, according to the Carhartt website, this N logo is done in military green, which yet again is is a very Carhartt color, and it's sitting there on the shoe, contrasting very nicely with the rest of it. And of course, this end logo is done in 3M. You also get more of that military green on the inner lining of the sneaker. The insole, so you get like a gray insole here, which once again features the New Balance and Carhartt logos. Moving down to the midsole, I do like what they did with the midsole here. There's a bunch of colors, starting off with what looks like a cream color at the front half of the midsole, and then you have somewhat of a tan brown, and it finally finishes off in this military green. The midsole does look pretty clean. And then down on the outsole too, you have more of those same colors, the military green and different shades of brown. The standard laces that come with this pair are done in this cream color, which is probably the laces that I would keep on these. However, I actually really do like the alternative laces that do come with the pair, which are done in a bit of a olive green color. It's slightly different than the end logo, but it also looks really nice on the shoe. Let me know in the comments which of the two lace options do you guys prefer. I actually think this is one of those pairs where you can't go wrong with either of them. They both look different and they both look pretty great.
You also get the Carhartt logo on the lace tips.
One of my absolute favorite things, however, about the 990v6 has to be the comfort. It's why I've become such a huge fan of the model and pretty much wear it every day. And that is because these shoes do have the fuel cell technology in the midsole. I think the difference is very noticeable when going from the 990v5 to the v6. The fuel cell just adds a lot of nice comfort to the shoe. And if you've never worn a pair of v6s before, when it comes to sizing, so personally I do go true to size in these. They do fit slightly narrower than previous 990s, although I go true to size in basically all 990s. So my sizing suggestion for you is go with whatever your normal 990 size is. If that is half a size down, then half a size down will fit you perfectly in these as well.
And for styling these, so I don't actually own a Carhartt worker jacket. I would have preferred to wear that, but instead I went with a brownish trench coat that I have. I did pair it with some cargos though, and a green sweatshirt. And I think this look kind of complements all of the colors of the shoe pretty well. What do you guys think? Let me know what type of fits you're planning to rock with your Carhartt 990 V6s.
Overall, I think if you are a big fan of Carhartt the brand, then you're definitely gonna love these shoes. It's a pretty great collab because both brands are represented really well. I personally think the colorway is maybe a bit dull for me. I could have used some lighter tones. I actually think there's a bunch of GR colorways like the cream pear, like the magenta pop. Also recently there was that lemonade looking colorway. There's a lot of V6 general release colorways that I would say I even prefer more than the Carhartts, and also the premium price for me on this sneaker is not really justified considering you're not really getting much of an upgrade in terms of materials. So even though I'm a big fan of the V6 and I'm also quite a big fan of Carhartt the brand, surprisingly these shoes are a bit of a pass for me. But let me know in the comments. That's just my opinion, guys. I want to hear from you. Which one of you guys copped these and how are you feeling about these shoes? And if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys, because it would really help me out a lot. I'm also dropping tons of content over on my Instagram, so give it a follow. The handle can be found right here. And if you're looking for a great sneaker podcast, then check out my podcast as well, the Kickback Pod, available on all streaming platforms. The links can be found in the description. And thank you guys so much for stopping by and for supporting the channel. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.